This video contains main story and Alliance raid spoilers for FF14 patch 6.5. Hello there everyone. I will be exploring the world looking for NPC dialogue changes now that the MSQ is completed, in preparation for part 2 of Growing Light, which should be setting the stage for Dawntrail. When my sister has strength enough to fly beyond the clouds, I would share with her the beauty of Thavnir. We will soar the skies by starlight as we did in our youth, and gaze upon its natural splendor. Radzatan, home. It's nice to see both Vrtra and Azdaja out in the open like this, and I'm glad to see Azdaja is actually a flesh and blood creature, and Vrtra has also confirmed that she's going to continue growing, so by the time Dawntrail comes around, she might be a much larger dragon. Though the mission is complete, there is still much I wish to learn of the Void. Naturally, I thought to seek out Azdaja. Then I remembered how, when speaking to Y'shtola of the First, my enthusiasm carried us well into the early hours of the morning. I hope not to make the same mistake again. Alphinaud and Alisaie have returned home, have they? With rebuilding efforts proceeding as they are, it was only a matter of time. I imagine it will not be long before the Ilsipar contingent prepares to withdraw as well. We were most glad to hear your operation on the moon proved a success. It is a relief to know we may safely use the tower once more. That's an interesting piece of dialogue from Lucia. In Dawntrail, maybe the Ilsipar contingent will actually start to back off, and this Camp Broken Glass will probably only have a few people in it, and who's to say she's actually going to be here at that point. We insisted that Alphinaud and Alisaie take their rest, but you're no less deserving of respite. To see you fight so tirelessly for causes greater than yourself, be they here or even in altogether different worlds, there's little wonder why you're revered as a hero. Time and again we have witnessed you make the seemingly impossible possible, and it is nothing short of inspiring. Needless to say, we'll be striving to follow your example. Come to see how we fare, have you? You needn't have troubled yourself. As young Jullus reminded me, we are the chain that connects generations past and future. Rather than clinging to our nation's past triumphs, I am determined to do only what is best for our people in the here and now. While we did not ask for it, Garlemald is home to a gateway to the moon. It is my belief that the unique facility should be used for peace. For the foreseeable future, we will lease the tower to the Ilsipar contingent, who will occupy it in the capacity of caretakers. And lest you wonder, you are free to use it as you please. It's the least we can do after all you've done for us. So I scoured the entire moon for any traces of difference, and honestly I didn't see any with any of the NPCs. The Watcher's dialogue is the same as it's been for the past couple of patches, even with the myths of the 12 actually being resolved at this point. One notable difference of course is the Void Gate is now gone, as is the barrier that surrounded the Great Crater, although the brands that surround the crater are still intact. Enjoying a hard-earned rest, I trust? Don't tell me Mother has called on you for business. I'll not deny it is good to be home, but it would be a lie to say that Garlemald and our people do not weigh on my mind. Surely there's something more we can do to ensure their warmth and comfort. How was the banquet? A pity I couldn't go with you. It would have been good to see everyone. Even so, I've enjoyed my time here with Mother and Father. Speaking of which, he expressed an interest in sitting down with you, so don't be surprised to receive a formal invitation from him in future. Could she be hinting at Fortunato inviting us to Sharlayan for maybe something to do with Toral? I guess maybe we'll have to find out in Dawntrail. I checked out the Baldeseon Annex while I was here, and unfortunately I didn't see any changes. Aside from the fact that Kryl has fully cleaned up the place, the leather is gone, as is the little pendant that came with it, and unfortunately both Kryl and Graha are nowhere to be seen. I literally stared at this door for ages and nobody turned up. I also checked the entirety of Labyrinthos and unfortunately no changes there either. On a whim, I decided to come to Lucia in order to see if I could find any trace of Deryk. I checked out the usual spots he was planning to go to, including Upper and Outer Lucia. I checked out the likes of the Wanderer's Palace and his own namesake stone, but unfortunately Deryk never showed up. I have a feeling we're not going to see him until he wants to be found. It is a relief to know that all has gone to plan. Thanks to you, the people of Yulmore were quite receptive to my explanation of the situation. Indeed, they were able to set aside their apprehensions and came together, supporting one another in service to a greater goal. Truly, a testament to the unified city Yulmore has become. I cannot promise that we will always have the strength needed to aid you, but you shall ever be welcome here in Yulmore. My, what a welcome surprise! If you're here, then I take it your home is safe once more? We were so terribly worried. Should you ever find yourself in need of aid, please never hesitate to call on us. Of course, you need not only visit in times of crisis. Though we are worlds apart, we will continue to pray for your happiness. You, Alphinaud, Zero, and all of your friends there in the source. We received word that light could be seen amassing at the Crystal Tower from as far as Kalusia. Naturally, there was concern the sight might incite fear in the public, but much to our relief, the people were comforted by the knowledge that this gathering of light was to aid the Warrior of Darkness. As you may have guessed, Master Chai was rather restless as well, pacing around the plaza all the while. No one was more relieved than he to see the people's reaction. When discussing the placement of your transmitters, we found ourselves on the subject of Nabat's severance and its derelict gondola. Should lights hold on the empty weaken, Mortsu can branch out, expand to new locations. Such a vessel would then prove valuable. I trust you would come to our new market, yes? Come with coin and partake of our wares. That would be very interesting. I'd love to see some new development on the first. I mean, I know it was an expansion ago currently, but I would like to see something like this revisited. I was wondering, are there trolleys in your world as well? And engineers to give them their due adoration? I intend to find such like-minded souls here, and I'll lay tracks across every ilm of Norvrant to do it. Twine remains the same as it's always been, and while we don't have much, I'm glad we could still be of help to you. Even when we build this town back into a bustling centre of business, you can always count on us. It is good to see you, Wyrm. Reen as well. By all accounts, she has grown to be a remarkable young woman, and it puts my mind at ease to know she remains in high spirits. It is never an easy thing to be separated from those we care for, but even when they are gone, their memories will remain to give us comfort. All has gone as Master Matoya planned then. I would expect nothing less. I should hope to congratulate her in person someday. And I'm sure Y'shtola is waiting for their reunion. To see the whole of Norvrant come together for a single purpose was heartening to say the least. I've no doubt that self-same camaraderie will serve us well as we continue to rebuild. If you were intending to offer compensation for my assistance, that will not be necessary. To have played a part in delivering the light of hope to the void was a fitting payment in itself. Now, while I was on the first, I searched around everywhere for Reen and Gaia, but unfortunately I wasn't able to locate them. If you end up finding them, let us know in the comments. Before I leave the first, there are two more people I need to talk to. Zeromus? He was a great hero of Eld, beloved by all. Never did I imagine his name would live again after 10,000 years. Fitting that another who bears it might aid us, even if only by way of a memorial crystal. That it should be wielded by the Zero is both reassuring and encouraging. To know that we are not alone in our endeavour makes our work here on the First all the more important. Speaking of which, I recently spoke to your comrades returned from the Empty. Only your Yonjay could have arrived at a solution as ingenious as primal summoning. Reen and Gaia are quite a formidable pair, aren't they? Skilled combatants gifted with command over light and dark. Were their strength not crucial to the First restoration, I would ask that they join us when we return to the 13th. I too know the sting of the Ascian's deception. 'Tis well that this Golbez now strives to make amends for his transgressions. As for your friend Zero, I struggle to believe she has not only journeyed here to the First, but was able to take light into herself. That one might have such strength of spirit beggars belief. That is not to say Unukalhai and I are not capable in our own right. In fact, I believe it may be soon time to put our plans into motion and return home to the 13th. Now this is something I wanted to mention. Unfortunately, neither of these characters got involved with the main story. However, the main story nodded and alluded to them enough that they were technically involved. We mentioned them to Zero and they were mentioned by Gaia and Reen, and apparently Gaia and Reen went to the both of them to explain the entire situation. Either way, I'm glad to see these two are actually getting actively involved, and by the way they're talking, maybe it's setting up some sort of storyline in Dawntrail and beyond, where we're able to help restore the 13th and, by extension, the 1st. Now, as a last bit to this video, I went to visit every single Scion whose whereabouts we know about, including Tataru here. But unfortunately, none of their dialogues have actually changed, but maybe they will change with the next patch, which will introduce them taking a more active role in Dawntrail. But either way, those are all the changes I noted to NPC dialogue in patch 6.5 part 1.